According to the definitions and general terms section of the New York State Notary Public License Law, which of the following is not a responsibility of a notary public when administering an oath or affirmation? So we're looking for what is not a responsibility, and it would be helpful to see what is a responsibility. And we can look at the definition of oath from the definitions and general terms section of the Notary Public License Law, and it states, in part, these are excerpts from the definition section, notaries public must administer oaths and affirmations in manner and form as prescribed by the civil practice law and rules, namely 2309 sub b, form. An oath or affirmation shall be administered in a form calculated to awaken the conscience and impress the mind of the person taking it in accordance with his religious or ethical beliefs. It also states, an oath must be administered as required by law. The person taking the oath must personally appear before the notary. As well, it states, when an oath is administered, the person taking the oath must express assent to the oath repeated by the notary by the words, I do, or some other words of like meaning. So with all this in mind, let's have a look at our four choices to determine our solution. Choice A states, the notary must require the oath taker to sign a written statement acknowledging their responsibility to tell the truth. Well, nothing from what we read from before states that the notary must have the oath taker sign a written statement. There are other requirements, as we're going to soon see by looking at the other choices, and as we saw before from the law, but none of those require the notary public to get a written statement. So therefore, this seems to be the correct solution, but let's have a look at the other three choices just to be certain. Choice B states, the notary must administer the oath in a form calculated to awaken the conscience of the person based on their religious or ethical beliefs. Well, we read that before from the definitions and general terms section, specifically under oath, and therefore this is a responsibility of the notary public, and therefore not the correct solution. Choice C states, the notary must ensure the person taking the oath personally appears before them. As we saw from the law before, that indeed is a responsibility of the notary, and therefore choice C is not the correct solution. And finally, choice D states, the notary must require the person taking the oath to express assent by saying, I do, or similar words. That as well we read from before and is a responsibility of the notary public, and therefore choice D is not the correct solution, which indeed leaves choice A. The notary must require the oath taker to sign a written statement acknowledging their responsibility to tell the truth as the correct solution.